Welcome to Life, Lessons, and Laughter with your host, Glenn Ambrose.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Life Lessons and Laughter with your host, Glenn Ambrose. So I just had a flashback of when I first started my podcast. I did what we labeled the Ambrose pause. I think I did that for like a year and a half. Like we'd start recording and my mind would go blank for for a while. It was hilarious. Hey, look at you guys chiming in on YouTube. Sarah, nice to see you. Denise from Michigan. Denise Hinton. I don't know if I know that name. Exciting. Maybe a new listener, perhaps a new watcher. All right, guys. Well, I'll look forward to your interaction here tonight. So I guess I will dive right into it because this is one of the, hey, Carol, my neighbor up here in the mountains. Not only my neighbor in the Dominican Republic, but this is my neighbor up here in the mountains. So that's even more rare, even more special. From France, I believe, if I remember correctly. So here we go. Today has been one of those days where I just kind of woke up and started working. And I've had little breaks in between. But it's just been a roll kind of all day. So I've been going all day. So I really haven't had much time to think of this topic. It just seemed like a good idea. It seemed like a good idea several hours ago. So here I am. Oh, Denise, many Insight Timer listens. First YouTube live. Cool. Welcome. Yeah, lots of people found me on Insight Timer originally and then have navigated their way over. So yeah, Insight Timer is very helpful. So today what I'm going to do is, I always try to think about what's been coming up a lot, when I'm talking to people, and there's always themes, and what's been coming up a lot is the long-term thinking versus short-term thinking. It's what I found is that, I'm always looking at society and the patterns in which society gets kind of stuck, because that's kind of what it is. It's stuck. It's, we get, technically it's unconscious living, but it's kind of, it's almost misleading to say unconscious because people think that that's a negative term, and it's not a negative term. It's just a realistic term. We're walking around, we don't know what we don't know when we don't know it. So we're unconscious to it. That's all. It's not a negative thing. It just is. So, what I've noticed is that people get caught up in patterns, right? They get stuck in life. And what I mean by that is if you're not living the life of your dreams or actively working towards the life of your dreams, then you are stuck. And the reason I say stuck is because you like, if you thought that you could achieve the life of your dreams, if it seemed like a realistic goal to you, if there was nothing holding you back, no mindsets, then you would be actively pursuing it. I mean, who wouldn't? Like, what? It's like, if you walked up to a 8-year-old and said, hey, so you're 8, right? And you can live whatever life you want. Your life is your responsibility. You can live whatever life you want. So since that's the case, you can design whatever life you choose. So would you rather stay in a job that you don't really like, or a relationship that you don't really like, or interacting with people that aren't really inspiring or loving? Like, you don't get a good feeling by, from being around these people, but yet you hang out with them all the time and they seem to drag you down. Like, if you were in a life like that, would you choose to stay in that life, or would you choose to pursue, design, and create the life of your dreams? Which one would you do if you had a choice? Every one of them would be like, well, I'll go design the life of my dreams. If that's an option, I'll take that, right? That's every 8-year-old. If you phrase it the right way, and if people stay out of the victim mentality, you're going to get the same, which doesn't always happen, let's be honest. But if you could phrase it the right way and people stayed out of the victim mentality and they stopped coming up with excuses why they couldn't do something, everybody would come up with the same answer. If the question was, you get to stay in a life that you don't like, or you get to create a life you do like, which one would you choose? Everybody would choose to create the life they do like. Why? Because they like it. This isn't complicated stuff, right? Hey, Gina from Canada. Comment ça va? And Nancy from Rhode Island. And God knows where. Sarah, are you in Colorado or California? Always have to ask Sarah where she is. So this is the reality that we are in. We are the designers of our own life. We can create our own life. So therefore, when I look at society and I go, well, why are so many people not living? And Susan from Down Under. Oh, wow. What an awesome group we have tonight. This is so cool. We have Sarah from anywhere, and that's like cool in itself that she could be anywhere. Denise from Michigan, Carol from Dominican Republic, who's originally from France. Sarah's in Laguna Beach, California. She just responded. Gina from Canada, Nancy from Rhode Island, Susan from Australia. I mean, this is awesome. So yeah, if you can build the life of your dreams and you're not, then there must be something preventing you from doing that. And what it is that it's our mindsets. It's the way we look at things. And what I noticed is that, when I talk about things, and of course I look for the disconnect. I look what I can adjust in people's lives. And what I've been noticing lately is that there seems to be a disconnect between short-term thinking and long-term thinking. There's a lot of people who focus on goals. You got to have goals. You got to have goals. I'm not that big on goals. I don't know. I do like goals to some degree, but to me is too much of an attachment to an outcome. I want to achieve something. I want a goal. I want to hit this mark. I want to be. And then if there's an attachment to an outcome like that, then unconsciously what that usually fuels is the idea that you're going to be happy when you achieve that, which isn't true. We do not become happy from external things. Happiness is a means of travel. It's not a destination. We don't arrive someplace. We don't get everything. We don't marry the right person and then have the house and then have the job and then have the 2.3 kids and a dog named Spot and then we're happy. It doesn't work like that. Like, we've been trying that for generations and it's pretty clear that it doesn't work, Now, if you grow while you're achieving those things, they can be an expression of your happiness. It's not that they're necessarily a detriment to your happiness, but they're not a source of it, So that's why I don't like goals too much. I don't like attaching to goals, but I do like long-term vision. I just like there to be more breathing room. And sometimes there's more breathing room and sometimes there's less breathing room. It depends on it depends on how much clarity we have towards our goal, or towards the direction that we're walking. So like I never set out to create a life coaching business because it was going to make me happy, or it was going to even I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know I wanted to be a life coach. I just knew I wanted to help people. I wanted to give back. And through sponsoring people in recovery, I seem to have this knack for explaining information and relating information verbally and helping people design a new way of living. I seem to have a knack for that. So I figured I hate school. So life coaching is very minimal school, especially if, depending on the certification you got. And mine was fairly minimal, which I liked. Yeah, I mean, it was good enough. It had some good quality content, but I mean, it wasn't some $30,000 freaking life coaching certification that I was going to spend 5 years getting or something. It wasn't that in depth. So it was minimal school and there was no regulation to it. What that means to me is no red tape, no paperwork, no dealing with insurance companies, all that crap. I thought that was ridiculous. I could not see myself doing all that stuff on a day-to-day basis, all that paperwork and stuff. That didn't sound like joy to me. And I didn't want to spend multiple years in school trying to achieve some degree for me to be able to do what I was already doing. So like, it just didn't make sense to me going other routes. But that doesn't mean I knew what I was doing. I didn't know that I wanted to be a life coach. I didn't know it was going to work. I didn't know that I was going to be able to channel information and I was going to do a podcast. And like, I didn't know any of that. So how could I have a goal of achieving it if I didn't know, Yeah, Gina's in the more technical aspect of it. So yeah, there's no joy in a lot of the paperwork and red tape. So I steered clear of that stuff. But yeah, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know that I was going to be able to have the business that I had. I had no idea. But what I did know is that I was designing the life of my dreams. I wanted to give back. I wanted to do something that I enjoyed. Hey, Mike, now we've got Arizona in the house too. I wanted to give back. I enjoyed that, and I felt very fortunate at having a new lease on life, and I wanted to share that with other people. So, I knew that I wanted to do that. I knew that I wanted to have my own business because I'm not good at working for other people. For many reasons. One, a major problem with authority, amongst other things. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, man. I just am. So I wanted to have my own business, make my own hours, make my own schedule, work for myself. So that's a direction I headed in. So I headed in it. But, what I always wanted to do is I wanted to make my own schedule. So that was why, because I wanted to be able to have the flexibility when my son was young to be there for him and to do things with him and all that stuff. So, and then as I get older, I just like my free time, so I keep it. So but that's long-term thinking. Like, I don't have to be like, I'm going to have a life coaching business and I'm going to work 2 weeks a month with my clients and it's going to be all online. I didn't know any of that. When I started. I just had the more vague goals. I want to help people. I want to give back. I don't want to do this. This seems like it might fit. Maybe I'll try it. If it doesn't work, I'll do something else, whatever. So I just leaned in a direction of what was going to support the day-to-day life that I was attempting to create. The day-to-day life that I had control over my schedule. I had control over my life. I was doing things that I enjoyed, and I had a good amount of flexibility. That was my long-term thinking. Okay. So you don't have to have a specific goal. You just have to walk in a direction of whatever is sparking your interest. Oh, life coach. Sure. I didn't know what a life coach was or if I wanted to do it. And quite honestly, when I took the certification, most of the stuff that I learned at this point where I am, probably 99% of what I learned, I don't use. When I first started, I probably used about 10% of what I learned. But I had already been sponsoring people. So I had already developed techniques, sponsoring and teaching people about spirituality. I did that for 8 years before I started life coaching. So I had that foundation, you know. And even then, I didn't know that I wanted to be a life coach because I didn't know what a life coach was. You know, I had to develop my own way of doing it. So when that's my long-term thinking, and it was loose. I was just walking in a direction of what seemed like I would like it, what seemed like I would enjoy, what it seemed had some aspects of what I thought an enjoyable life would be like. So that's why I was walking in that direction. That's my long-term thinking. Then you got to switch to the short-term thinking. And your short-term thinking needs to support your long-term thinking. This is what I'm seeing people not draw the line with. Okay, they're not using their short-term thinking to support the long-term thinking. A lot of times people stay in a short-term thinking, like through life. This is why they stay stuck. They're saying, like, you know, like let's say you're busy, right? Like like I was. Hey, sorry guys, I got to talk to Faith for a minute. Hey Faith, tranquilo, relax. She gets into this thing where she digs up her bed a little bit, starts scratching up the couch. Anyway, so what the heck was I saying? So people get stuck in a short-term thinking. Like they're stuck in a busy life, right? And they go, you know, like when you talk to somebody about changing their life, a lot of times they just, you know, life is so busy nowadays, and it is. And they, oh my God, I can't, you know, when would I ever do that? I can't do that. You can do it. And it's, you know, how do I know? Because I did it. I was just as busy as you guys. I mean, there was a time when I was working a 40-hour-a-week job. I was with my son 5 days a week. And that was my focus when I was with him. I was basically with him. I wasn't doing a lot of other things. Like we didn't go grocery shopping when I was with my son. It was fun time. It was play time. It was one-on-one time. It was our time. So I did my errands outside of that usually. Every once in a while it would spill over. But I was with my son 5 days a week. I was in a relationship. I was working a 40-hour-a-week job. I had gotten my personal training certification back reinstated, and I was working personal training before and after work. And I started going to school one night a week for some, like, I don't remember what it was called, but it was some practitioner or something in the Science of Mind church or something that I would attend every once in a while. And that was too much. I mean, it was too much. But this is just an example of what you can do and what is, you know, that's busy. I've experienced it, you know. So, and when I started my business, it was time to start my business. I had decided I was starting a business. I started it, and right when I'm starting it, all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose, and I end up going to court for custody of my son. And he moves in with me. First court day, boom. Now all of a sudden, instead of 5 days a week fun time, I'm 24/7 parenting time. You know, and his mom wasn't in the picture, so it was all me. And I'm starting a business, and I start collecting food stamps. Like, I've been there, man. You know, there isn't an excuse. Like you can do it. So the busyness, what it is people stay stuck in that because they go like, you think like if you ask anybody in today's day and age, are you busy? Or, hey, how are you? Busy. Like, I mean, being busy is a badge of honor nowadays, which is not good. We need to try to get out of that. But everybody's so busy that it's just that, like, if you say, hey, can you swing by and pick me up some broccoli, they're like, oh, because they can't even mentally conceive how they can fit it in because they're so damn busy. Like half of the stuff that we do, we keep ourselves busy. It's an addiction. We need to slow down. There is, this usually blows people's minds when they slow down and think of it. Do you know if you sleep 8 hours and you work 8 hours, you have 8 hours of free time every single day? 8 hours. What are you doing with your 8 hours? We need to slow down and start being conscious of our time. There was a quote I used to have on my website by Zig Ziglar. It said something like, lack of direction, not lack of time is the problem. We all have 24-hour days. And this is the type of thinking that got me through. Like, and I didn't push myself anymore. I mean, most of the people, like, I'm not saying you have to add things onto your schedule. I'm saying if you bring consciousness into your life, you can rearrange things more than you think you can. And you can fit stuff in. You can do this stuff. And what I'm talking about, like letting go of, is like you could watch 1 hour of television instead of 3 and do stuff on your laptop. I mean, we are in the information age. We can make better use of our time. This is what I'm saying. So when you at first people are going, they're just so fast. And you say, oh, well, you should job search. Oh, when am I going to job search? It's like, you can't have a conversation with somebody that when they're in their mindset like that. That's why I like these podcasts. I can get this stuff out without all the, yeah, but you don't understand shit. I don't understand. I've been there. I understand it perfectly. So what we have to do is, one, slow down and understand that we do have free time. We're just misusing it. We are not using it well. We need to open up our mind and we need to prioritize our time and figure out what's important to us. And then, like, if living the life of our dream, this is what's funny, is most people are not putting any energy, zero to living the life of their dreams. And then they complain why they're not living the life of their dreams. It's like, you're not putting any energy towards it. Are you doing anything in your life, anything whatsoever, that you don't have to do, that is not benefiting you in any way? Of course you are. Going to the grocery store 4 times in a week, picking up little stupid stuff that you forgot instead of making a list and going once a week, that's a waste of time. Filling up your gas tank every time you pass a gas station is a waste of your time instead of filling it up every 4 days. Like, I caught myself doing this stuff. This is how I've learned. When I was busy, when I was trying to find time, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so busy. I never stop. It's like, well, Glenn, how many times did you stop at the grocery store this week? Well, like 4. Well, yeah, but it's quicker picking up like little things instead of going one big thing. Not really. What I found is that's not actually true, because you have to drive to the grocery store or out of your way a little bit, and that's time. Then you have to get out of the car, walk in. Then you got to wait in line. Then you got to walk back out to the car, and then you got to drive back to get back onto the track that you were on your way home, and then you have to go home. So, like, just doing it once a week saves a bunch of time. This is the type of stuff that I had to figure out when I was trying to start my own business, because I didn't have any more time than you guys have. But what I did is I used my short-term thinking to support my long-term thinking. I was going to create the life of my dreams. It wasn't if, it was when I was creating that. I was going to create that. So then it's just, what my brain would do is when I came up with I don't have time. Okay, find some. It wasn't, I don't have time. I'm a victim. I'm a victim of time. You don't understand. I'm busy. I'm a single parent. My son's playing in 3 competitive soccer teams at one time because there was a scheduling conflict. So I'm running all over literally Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut for soccer games as a single parent and starting a business. I wasn't complaining about that. What I was doing, well, I mean, every once in a while I complained, but my point is I didn't let it stop me. It was like, okay, well, I'm driving over 3 states, going to soccer games and trying to start a business and being a full-time parent. Okay, so how can I save time? Well, I can go grocery shopping once. I can go get gas twice a week instead of 4 times a week. Cool. Okay, I can have my laptop on my lap while I'm watching TV. Okay, cool. So like I'll do some work and then my son will go, "Oh my God, Dad, did you see that? Oh, wait, what? Was there something good?" Rewind. Oh, yeah, you can rewind live TV now. Did you guys know that? So, not that I have a TV, but anymore. Oh, wow. Oh my God, that was hilarious. Great. Cool. Thanks for pointing that out. Oh, that was good. Boop, 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 boop. You know, and I mean, sometimes I'd be working until 10, 11 o'clock at night doing stuff. There's always stuff to do when you're starting a business. But it wasn't a chore. It wasn't like, oh, I have to get on the computer and work instead of sitting there enjoying time with my son. No, I was creating the life of my dreams. That's enjoyable. That's enthusiasm. That's joy. Oh, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wasn't joyful the whole time. Yay. I get to, I had to push myself sometimes. But it was always because I had that long-term vision. I'm not living the rest of my life working for somebody else. I don't like working for other people. I like working for me. So that's what I'm going to do, period. I don't like doing stuff that I don't like. So I'm going to start a business doing stuff that I do like, period. It wasn't if, it wasn't, oh, I hope I can, or maybe I will. It was like, no, I'm designing the life of my dreams. Now, why was it so clear? Well, I had an extreme life. I was an alcoholic for 20 years. Now, all of a sudden, I get a new lease on life. For me to not live the life of my dreams, it was like looking at God saying, hey, God, you know how you like I was suffering and struggling and my life was a mess and I was an empty piece of shit and I was bankrupt emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, and I was dying and on death's doorstep. And my body was shutting down. And then you kind of came into my life. I opened up, surrendered, and you gave me a new lease on life. And now I've been able to be a parent to my son for all these years. I've been able to have relationships with people. I've been able to become a good son and a good father and a good brother and a good friend for the first time in my life. And thank you for giving me this new lease on life. But screw you. It's not really worth it. I'm not really going to put in the effort. That, to me, that was like spitting in God's face. That was like going, hey, thanks for the second chance. You can go screw yourself. That's how I viewed it. And maybe that's a little extreme, but that's the way I talk to myself. That's the way I view things because it gives me clear-cut vision. And it leaves no room for excuses. And it leaves no room for wiggle room. See, this is how we stay stuck with the wiggle room. Well, yeah, but you don't understand. It's kind of difficult. And kind of busy, and that's how we stay stuck. If we go, no, my life is my responsibility. I loved The Untethered Soul that Michael Singer wrote. And there was, the even before I got the book, he was on Oprah. And I love this interview. Hey, Beth and Jane. You got my Massachusetts people here now too. And Michael Singer was in this interview with Oprah. It was the first interview he had ever done. And it was on Oprah, and she was talking about his book, The Untethered Soul. And he was talking about this part about when death comes. What are you going to say when death comes and says, hey, it's time to go? What are you going to say? Oh, wait, give me one more week. Like, what would death say in response? One more week? Why would you need one more week? You had 52 of those last year alone. Well, I didn't know you were coming. Yes, you did. You knew death was coming. You always knew I was coming. Oh, well, I didn't think it was that important. Your life? You didn't think your life was that important? Like, that's a hell of a thing to say about your life. You know, like, life is what happens when we're busy doing other things. Oh, I'm busy. Yeah, you're missing life. You're missing life. That's what you're doing. Life is passing while you're busy. Take advantage of it. Bring consciousness into it. Look at this stuff realistically and understand what's happening and start working on a plan. Use that short-term, use your prioritizing in your short-term vision to support your long-term vision and walk towards it. It doesn't, you know, the thing of it is people don't understand that, like, they don't use the long-term vision appropriately and they don't use the short-term vision appropriately. Like, the people usually use long-term vision by this is the mentality that sometimes people say it verbally and sometimes they don't. But a lot of the long-term vision that people have is to talk themselves out of doing things. Like, they say, okay, I would love to start my own business doing something. And, but for me to do that, I mean, you know, it'd probably take me like 10 years. I mean, I'm not going to do that. Why? What? So what? Well, I'm 50. So you'll have your own, you'll be living the life of your dreams when you're 60. If you're right, which they're probably not, they're probably extending it because they want to make it sound like a really long time, because then they can stay stuck, because staying stuck is more convenient. So it's more comfortable. So they go, oh, well, I'm not gonna freaking 10 years. Like, I'm going to work on starting my business for 10 years. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you work on your business, starting your own business if it took you 10 years, even if you're 50 years old? Then you're 60 and you have your own business. You're living the life of your dreams. That's what you want. I mean, what's the alternative? You don't do that. Okay, so you're 50, you don't like your job. And instead of building the life of your dreams over the next 10 years, which quite frankly is a pretty exciting and enjoyable experience, you know, and difficult, but exciting and enjoyable as well. Instead of doing that for 10 years and ending up where you want to be 10 years from now, what you're going to do is you're going to keep living a life that you don't like for the next 10 years. And then when you hit 60, you'll continue living that life that you don't like for even more years. So that sounds better to you than spending 10 years creating your business? I don't understand the logic in that. I literally don't understand the logic. And it's because it makes no sense. And this is what I love about this way of life, spirituality, this way of living, this way of thinking. It makes sense. If you break it down into very specific, clear pieces, it makes perfect sense. If you look at what society is out there doing, the way most people are living their lives and how they make decisions, it literally makes 0 sense. Zero. And people look at me, people who don't know about spirituality, they find out, oh, Glenn enlightened. he got his he's one of those spiritual people. Oh, he's the woo-woo. Yeah, he was extreme psycho when he was younger, and then now he's some extreme God freak. Like, oh, you know, he's up there with this pie in the sky, positive thinking, everything's wonderful BS. Oh yeah, it must be nice. He doesn't even have a foot on the ground. That, I love that, because it makes me laugh, because they're the ones that don't have their feet on the ground. If you think that life isn't horrible and and you think we're not all stuck and we're not, and we just have to suffer while we're here and do jobs that we don't like to earn a living. If you don't see that as the truth, then you're delusional and you're pie in the sky and you're woo-woo and you don't even understand reality. You're just out there. No, it's the opposite. It's the opposite. When you think you're stuck and you have no options in life and you can't design your own life and you can't work towards a better life, you're delusional. You don't, it makes no sense. You cannot convince me that I can do it, but you can't for some reason. What am I, special? Like God came down and was like, hey, let's make Glenn and all the other successful people, we'll make them successful. And then we'll take the other large portion of society and we'll make them all stuck. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to create a universe, right? That has universal, precise, immutable law that keeps planets certain distances apart and makes everything create and all this amazing, intricate stuff. And we're going to put this little planet on there, right? And we're going to make this beautiful creation, and it's going to be gorgeous, and there's going to be all these animals and plants and water, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. And we're going to create people, and people are going to have free will, and they're going to be able to think, and they're going to be able to choose this loving life and open, but they don't have to because it's free will. So because, it has to be based in love and beauty and peace and joy. And like, you can't control peace and love. So we can't control them and make them a certain way. We have to give them free will so they can choose it and they can want it. And it's a fulfillment of their own desire if they so choose. That way it's theirs. We're going to make that. Okay. So that's the plan. And somebody comes in and goes, okay, cool. That's a cool plan, man. That's a cool plan. I've got a better idea. Let's just tweak it a little bit. Let's take 10% of the people on the planet, right? And we'll make them be able to achieve whatever they want. And it's freaking awesome, right? Just like the plan that you said, right? We're going to take the other 90% and we're going to block them from everything good. They are destined to live a life of torture, suffering, and doing stuff that they don't like for no apparent reason. Okay? Good idea. Let's do that. What sense does that make? If I can do it, you can do it. It's absurd. Go look around at children. Can you imagine looking at a child's eyes? I mean, really, I mean, hopefully you're not so cynical that you could actually do this. I hope not. I hope nobody can look at a child's eyes, look at them in their eyes, get really still and look at them and go, you will never be able to accomplish what you want in life. I hope nobody can actually do that because that's sick, because it's untrue. You look into a child's eyes, they are pure potential. That's what we are. We are pure potential. We are potential energy. They've even proven this in quantum physics. That there's particles. I don't know if you guys know this. There's particles that can either be basically like a dot or a wave, right? And what they found is and it's potential. It can be either one. So what they found was when they told the scientists to go look in a microscope at this, if they told them that they were going to be looking at a particle, as soon as that scientist walked in and looked in the microscope, it turned into a particle. If they told another scientist that they were going to go look at a wave, as soon as they looked, it turned into a wave. Instantly. Because of their consciousness, because of what they expected. This is what I'm saying. They're proving this stuff scientifically. We are potential energy. We have the ability to be anything. The reason that you can see it so much in a child's eyes is because they don't have all this crap packed all over it, this societal conditioning and the illusion of the delusion of this world all caked on top, this structured domestication that the adults that we are have been exposed to, and this way of thinking that we've been indoctrinated to that isn't true. These kids don't have that. So what they have, that's why you can see that potential in their eyes. You can look at them and you can be like, oh my God, they could be anything that they set their mind to. That's their soul. That's their energy. That's their potential energy. So what it is, what it is we are the same as them. Like this is how I made sense of this when I was younger, because I had self-doubt just like everybody. So when I had self-doubt, what I used to do is, my son was such a gift that I would look at my son and I'd be like, do I truly believe that my son can be anything that he puts his mind to? In my heart, do I truly believe this? And I was like, yes. Okay. If he can be anything he puts his mind to, why can I not be anything that I put my mind to? Why can't I? What's different about me? What does he have that I don't have? That he can be anything he wants and I can't? Like nothing. Like we're both just souls on earth. We're both eternal souls. We're both spiritual beings having a human experience. If he can be anything that he wants, then I have to be anything that I want. I have to be able to have that same capacity that he does. Otherwise, if it's not true for me, then how can it be true for him? We're the same type of being. And this is how I got, and I took that seriously. So I said to myself, I always find ways for me to get to where I need to get to. And what I needed to get to is I needed to believe that it was possible. So what I did is I was like, well, Glenn, you're a hypocrite and a liar if you think that that's true for your son, but it's not true for you. You can't truly believe something is possible for somebody that's the same as you, but yet it's not possible for you. That's like literally impossible. You're the same, so you have to have the same possibilities. That's just how it is. Otherwise, you wouldn't be the same. You would be different, but you're not. You're the same. So you must have the same possibilities. Okay. So I sat there and I would be like, and I would spend time contemplating it. I go, why don't I think I have the same possibilities as him? Because I experienced difficulty in my life. I was an alcoholic for 20 years. I have a late start. Okay, well, does that mean that you can't accomplish it now? No. And I actually I was going through this process. Now, I don't know how long I went through that process. It could have been weeks. But I was going through that process. And one day I said to my son when we were driving, I said, hey, I think I'm going to be a millionaire. I was thinking, I think I want to be a millionaire, like, by the time I'm 50. I forgot the exact age. Right. And by the way, I'm not a millionaire yet, whatever. But, and I'm over 50, but like, I was somewhere around 40. Right. And I said, I think I want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 50. And my son started laughing. And I was like, "What? Why are you laughing?" And he goes, "Well, you can't be a millionaire." See, he had already started getting conditioned by society. He was probably 8. So I said, well, why are you laughing? And he says, "Well, you can't be a millionaire." He says, "You're too old." Which was cool because it forced my mind to go down that road. So I went, I'm too old. And I didn't dismiss it. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're a kid. I'm not old. No, I thought about it. So, okay, let's come to a logical thought on it. I said, okay. So I said, if somebody graduates college, let's say at like 25, let's just say they graduate college at 25 and then they work real hard. Could they be a millionaire by the time they're 35? And he goes, well, yeah, that's possible. I said, okay. So 10 years worth of work, you think somebody could become a millionaire? He says, yeah. I said, okay. He says, so why can't I be a millionaire from 40 to 50? That's just 10 years. I said, and the way I look at it is you got some kid that's fresh out of college, doesn't know half of what he needs to learn about life. I've already lived a whole life. Like by the time I'm 40, I've already lived. I probably lived 2 lives by the time I was 40. But I was like, I already lived life. I already learned all kinds of things. So I can use all that information I have to propel. So I'm thinking that what could take somebody 10 years to accomplish, I could probably do it in 7 years, maybe 5, because of my life experience. So I think I could do it in less time rather than more time. And, we talked about this, and he, I think we came to the conclusion. I don't really remember how it ended up, but my point is that we go in and find what your obstructions are to a particular way of thinking. See, this is something I did to support myself. I didn't sit there and go, you always have to tell yourself the truth. I never lied to myself. If I felt something was a lie, I didn't try to buy into it. I thought through it. So I'm like, okay, I don't feel like I'm capable of accomplishing the life of my dreams, but I think my son can accomplish the life of his dreams. So there's a disconnect there. I need to figure out why I think I'm incapable of it, and yet he is. So I started thinking and I started contemplating it. And I would ask myself, why can't I? Well, time. Well, no, I just, and I just did that little equation with the time, right? That I just explained. Okay, so time wouldn't block me from achieving the life of my dreams. Okay, why else? Oh, well, you have a late start. So, does it? Well, I guess that doesn't really block me from anything. I might be more capable. Okay, right. So now, but until I do this exercise with myself, you have a late start is a good enough reason unconsciously if you never explore it. That will block you. This is why I go through these processes. It will block you because unconsciously things don't have to make sense. They just have to be a block. It's just like a little piece of wood stuck there. It's a block. It doesn't make sense or it doesn't not make sense. It's just a block. So we have to go in, find out what those blocks are and remove them. Right? This is what I do intellectually. If there's something in my brain that says you can't do that, I go in and say, why? Like when I do this with everything. When I wrote my book, it's like, the self-doubt comes up. Well, who are you to think you can write a book, Glenn? Oh, I know. Geez, how the hell am I going to write a book? I don't know anything about writing a book. I skip school half the time. I don't know how to write a book. How would I possibly write a book? I don't know the first thing about writing a book. Like, okay, that's true. Then I think about somebody who did write a book. Really good book. Highly successful author. When there was a highly successful author, before he wrote a book, did he know that he was capable of writing a good book and become a highly successful author? No, of course not. How could somebody possibly know what they could do if they've never done it? Did they have self-doubt? Yep, just like I'm having self-doubt. So what did they do? Well, they wrote it anyway. They tried. They figured out how to write a book. Maybe they wrote a bunch of crappy ones first, and then they got good at it. Maybe they lucked out and hit it good on the first one. Who knows? But what they did is they put energy towards it. They tried, and eventually they accomplished writing a book. And that's how they wrote their book. Okay, I'm going to do that. I can do that. I can do what they did. They didn't know anything that I don't know. And I mean, I don't care who it is. I don't care if somebody went to school and learned everything that there was writing a book. That doesn't mean that when they sit down to write a book, they're like, no, this is going to be perfect. I know exactly what I'm doing. If they are, they're delusional because they've never done it before. So realistically, nobody is good at anything until they do it. You have to do it first. This is what we use our long-term and our short-term thinking to keep us stuck. What we do is we go, well, I don't know how to do steps. I don't know how to write a book. I don't know what information I would use. I don't know what the topic's going to be. I don't know how to structure a book. I don't know how to make the chapters flow together. I don't know anything. And so they stop. So what they do is they look and they go, okay, I got to do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I don't know how to do some of these. So why bother? That's not how life works. That's not how things unfold. You just do what you can. You know, how do you write a book? I don't know. I Google, how do you write a book? Pick a topic. Okay. Topic. Spiritual shit. It's a topic. Okay. Now what? Come up with chapters. How am I going to come up with chapters? Oh, I've been doing a podcast. Oh, I was doing blogs. Blogs are in writing. That's even easier. I'll copy and paste a bunch of blogs here. And then, no, I don't know. Okay. Now, is that a book? No. Okay. What else should I do? Well, I need to put these in some sort of order, or at least attempt to. Okay. I didn't, I never know what I'm doing, but I do it anyway. You know, and if there's blocks to it, I find out what those blocks are. And then I overcome them. There's nothing that you can't overcome. There are no blocks. You don't need money to start a business. You don't need anything. You know, this is some of the stuff that I learned in recovery is, you know, it was so helpful. Recovery program is so spiritually grounded. And I swear most people don't even understand the level of spirituality that is in that program. That big book of Alcoholics Anonymous is like reading the Bible. It is pure spiritual text. That program is pure spiritual teachings. That's why it works, is because it's all based in spiritual law. I mean, it's like almost everything that I know about spirituality, I can trace it back to some level of the recovery program. It's insane. It's so what I learned was that, like, they tell you in recovery, there is nothing that needs to be different for you to get sober. Because, you know, when people come in, they have all kinds of issues. So they think, I just need a job. I just need my wife to take me back. I just need my kids to talk to me. I just need a roof over my head. I just need this. I just need that. I just, if I could just, and all of it is BS. None of it's true. You don't need anything to be different to get sober. Everything is like that. You don't need anything to be different to start building your new life. Nothing. You don't need a divorce. You don't need a partner. You don't need support. You don't need money. You don't need anything. You don't need anything to start your new life, to start creating the life of your dreams. There is nothing that you don't have that you need. You have everything that you need. Everything to accomplish whatever your heart's desire is. So it's about having, you know, just creating that loose. It doesn't matter if you know what you want exactly. Just create. I didn't know. Create something loose. What sparks your attention? What are you interested in? What brings you joy? Anything. And then just start walking towards that. If that ain't it, it's going to lead you to something that close by that is it. That's how it works. That's our guidance system. Our guidance system is very easy. If something interests you, that's a sign. Maybe it's it, maybe it isn't it, but it's something to pay attention to, and it's something to look into. Because there's all kinds, you know, I mean, do you know how many things don't interest me on this planet? Billions. Somebody could be like, hey, would you like to work with children? Nope. Do you want to be a farmer? Nope. Do you want to be an accountant? Nope. Do you know, it's endless, the amount of things that I am uninterested in. Endless. So and everyone's like that. So if you're interested in something, that's a sign. There's a reason you're interested in it and I'm not. It's because it's a sign. So those are the things that you follow. It doesn't matter. We're unattached to the outcome. So it doesn't matter if it turns into that thing. We're so nervous about wasting time. We waste our entire lives because we're scared to waste time. This is that's the ironic part about our ego. This is what our ego does. It does in all types of atmospheres. When our ego scares us or warns us about possible danger, because that's its job, what it's doing is it's cautioning us that we might experience something that we don't like, right? Or that we don't enjoy, that doesn't make us feel good. Watch out. You might get hurt. Watch out. This might not turn out the way you want it to. But the ironic part is what your ego is warning you about, you're literally experiencing right now. Right now. You're literally living a life that you don't like. And your ego is saying, don't take that step because you might live a life that you don't like. How ironic is that? You're already living a life that you don't like. There's literally no risk. You could do anything and you'd have a 50-50 chance of becoming happy or landing right where you are now. And that's a much better chance than what you're doing now. Because you know you don't like your life now. You know you don't. So do something different. So what if you work for 5 years pursuing something you think you might like, and then it doesn't turn out? So you spent 5 years pursuing something that you thought you might like. And you know what you learned? A bunch of stuff that's going to help you in the next 5 years. Even if you never found it, let's just say for the sake of argument, you were on this planet for 90 years and you spent the ages from 20 to 90 looking for what brought you joy, and you never found it, and then you were dead. Let's just say that happened. That would not be a waste of your life, because at least you experienced things and you tried searching for your joy. You did something with your life. I would much rather spend my entire life chasing my joy than sit there living a life that I don't like, sitting on my deathbed at 90 years old going, well, I sat and suffered for 70 years and never did anything that I liked. Never even tried to. Oh my God. That scares me. There's not much that scares me. But I'll tell you, man, I'm not scared of failure. I mean, I don't care. I fail all the time. What I'm scared of is not trying. I'm scared of waking up on my deathbed going, oh, I missed it. Or I just sat there complacent in misery for years. I never pursued what I wanted. I never went after it. That to me, it literally makes me nauseous. I literally just got nauseous just thinking about that. That's how much it goes up my spine. It's like nails on a chalkboard to me. Just the thought of living an existence that I don't like. This is why people people make fun of me, especially my friends in Rhode Island, because I moved so much. They're like, oh, you must like moving. I'm like, no, I hate moving. They're like, you hate moving? Then why do you do it so much? So I thought about it, I was like, why do I move so much? It's like, well, because if I look at a situation and go, like, I think that this is an expression of me. See, I don't think I'll be happy when I move. Like, I don't think that if I live in a certain place, I'll be happy. I'm already happy. So when I move, it's an expression of my happiness. It's me living my life to the fullest. So when I see someplace, like when I moved to the horse farm in Rhode Island, or when I moved to Florida, or when I moved to the Dominican Republic, when I moved and started my business, all of those moves, the motivation was the same. When I sat there and I found, all of a sudden this place comes across my radar, and I go, okay, I could move and I could start my own business, and I could have an apartment upstairs with me and my son live, and I could work downstairs and be able to have the freedom and flexibility to work all kinds of hours and still be there for him and set my own schedule. And like, I could do that. Or I could stay working where I'm working and living where I'm living, where I don't really like the downstairs neighbors. They're really loud and rude, and I could not chase my dreams. Like I couldn't stay in that apartment. I couldn't stay there. Like it wasn't an option. Once I thought it out, well, I could chase my dreams, or I could stay here in an atmosphere that I don't really like. Well, then I have to move. I don't even I mean, I'm sure there's other rationale out there, but nothing that makes sense to me. It wasn't an option. I had to do it. Otherwise, like, what am I doing? Like, what kind of life am I living? What? Well, I could chase my dreams, or I could live where I don't like to live. Well, I don't like moving, and I don't like packing boxes. So I'm going to take 2 days or a week of uncomfortability, and I'm going to allow that to stop me from chasing my dreams. No, I can handle a week of uncomfortability of the moving process in order for me to chase my dreams. I mean, and it's the same thing when I moved to the 7-acre horse farm. I wanted to be in a peaceful atmosphere. I like that. I love the peace and quiet and the nature. Oh, okay. Well, I found this. Well, how could I not? I like this environment, but I should stay in the environment that I don't like. Like, what? Why? Why would I choose to stay in the environment I don't like if I have the option of being in an environment I do like? I don't understand the logic of how people stay stuck. It's just not how my brain works. Same thing with Florida. Okay, I can move to Florida where it's warm and I like the weather, or I can stay and freeze my ass off, which I don't like. Why would I not move to Florida? I can move to the Dominican Republic, where I really love the people, and the cost of living is less, and it's beautiful. Or I could stay in Florida, where I don't like, where the people aren't as friendly and the cost of living is extremely higher. And like, if I see something that I like, why would I not do it? I've worked, and it's not like, I mean, maybe I'm a little bit naturally this way, but I've worked through that. I've taught myself that it's okay to go after what I go after. Why? By doing, what I've talked about tonight. It's about, going after what I want. And if something tells me I can't have it, I don't accept that. If my ego says, "Hey, Glenn, watch out. You can't just go do that." I go, "Why? Why can't I do it?" Well, you can't. Well, that's not a really good answer. You're going to have to be more specific. Why can't I do that? Well, because you're too old. Well, no, I'm not. I mean, people have gone back to college when they were in their 80s. I mean, they've done it. What? They're just a person. So I'm a person. So, like, I rationalize things. I use my logical mind as a gift. So I look at things. I don't just take some mindless sputter that my freaking ego kicks out and go, "Oh, okay, my ego said I shouldn't do it, so I guess I shouldn't do it." I don't care. I don't care what my ego says. My ego is a motion detector. It's a warning detector. It doesn't have thinking capabilities. My ego cannot look at things, rationalize, and figure out what's good for me and what's bad for me. That's not my ego's job. My ego is to warn me of possible danger. So that's what it does. "Glenn, you shouldn't do that. Why? Possible danger. Danger, Glenn Ambrose. Danger, Will Robinson." Right? So when it does that, I go, "Oh, really? There's danger? What danger do you speak of?" "Well, you're too old." "Well, no, that's not actually true. So we can throw that one out." "Okay. Well, it's going to be hard work." "Well, so is staying in a life that I don't like. At least this way, I could end up in a life that I do like. So we'll throw that one out." "What's your next objection?" This is what I do. Work through it. So then my short-term vision can support my long-term vision. So my long-term vision is my loose goal. And then what I do on a daily basis supports that. It supports my long-term vision. So what do I do in a daily? So when I'm looking at my week, I prioritize my time. Why do I do that? Well, because I'm not living unconsciously. That's why I have to be responsible for my own time. I have to be responsible for my own energy. I am busy just like everybody else is busy. So if I want to accomplish something, I need to figure out how to put energy towards it. This is what, and energy is usually in a form of time or money. For many of us, it's mostly time. I did everything myself when I started my business, everything. I built my own websites. And I didn't know how to do any of it. Google, how do you build a website? Drag and drop. Do you know how many hours I spent building a website? Because all I had was me. I had no choice. People are like, oh, I can build you a website for $500. Well, it looks like I'm back to Googling how to build a website. I ain't get $500. So I sat down, and it's not, if something is not an option, you will find a way. It's kind of interesting that I'm talking about a lot of this stuff, because I'm drawing a lot of lines. I just watched The Last Dance, I think it was called, on Netflix, with the Michael Jordan and Chicago Bulls 10-part series. And it's, hey man, Michael Jordan, amazing. Very impressed with the dude. Basketball, don't necessarily agree with 100% of his tunnel focus, because it was by all means necessary. Like, if he needed to be a jerk to people to accomplish something, then he was willing to do that. And that's fine. And for him and the life that he lived, and he has amazing accomplishments. I am not willing to do that. I'm not willing to be a jerk to other people for me to accomplish something. That's just, but we live very different lives, and we're in very different atmospheres, and, so no judgment to him. I get it. I get why he did what he did, and I think he's actually a very good person. Honestly, I do. I think Michael Jordan is a very good person. Just because he did some things as far as how he treated other people, I don't believe that all the rumors that they said about him. But there were factual things that he mistreated people at certain times that he's literally owned up to. And with stuff like that, I don't judge him for that. I get it. We all do. I did plenty of things that I wouldn't do. And he lived a very specific life. So I get that. But what the line, the parallel is that nothing stopped him from reaching his goal. Nothing. When he got food poisoning right before a finals game, he came out and his body was literally shutting down. Like, he couldn't perform. There was we're talking physical ailment here, like your body physically shutting down because it can't keep food and water in for energy and to sustain it. And like people physically collapse, right? So that's the reason it's such a good example is because it's physical. And so most people, probably everybody on the planet other than him, just about, they would have collapsed on a court or not played or something. It would have stopped them. And he went out and played, and he could barely stand up in the beginning, but he got into another gear, because when he sat down, and instead of going, I can't do this, my body is shutting down, I can't overcome my physical body, he just went, we have to win. We have to win. We have to win. And he literally overran his body, and his body somehow found life force energy, whatever, and did something impossible that people think is impossible. And that's overriding your physical system. He literally did that and ended up scoring a ton of points and playing at a very high level in that same game. That's unheard of. That's insane that he was able to do that. But that's his belief system. He was incapable of thinking that he couldn't win. It just wasn't an option. And therefore, he overrode his body. This is what I'm saying. We can do stuff like this. There's always a way. We can overcome whatever obstacle there is. And we can even override it physically at times. You know, I mean, most of us aren't Michael Jordan and aren't going to be in that position. My point is, it's a good example. I want to do this. Okay, how do I do that? Well, you can't. If you can't comes up, you have to deal with that. And then you make your life. Okay, what am I going to do? I remember going from, I worked one job. I was working two jobs, and I worked one job, and I stopped home and I ate, and I had to stop and open up a business account. This was for a business that I was trying to open several years before I tried opening businesses a few times and they failed. This was one of those businesses. And I stopped to open up a business bank account, and I had like an hour. I think I had an hour and a half to open up the business account and get down to South County to work in Rhode Island. And I was feeling stress. How am I going to do this? This is, oh my God, like, I'm always doing something. And I stopped and I went, wait a minute. Right before I went to the bank, I parked the car and I went, stop. If there was a human being on the planet, which there's been many of them, that was an entrepreneur and they wanted to start their own business, might they be working two jobs? Might they have a child? Yeah, it's possible. I'm sure somebody else has done it. Okay, so picture you being them. What if what would their life consist of? Would it be realistic to think that maybe an entrepreneur trying to start his business, working two jobs with a single parent, might have to stop in an hour and a half break, run into a bank, open up a business account, and then get back to work as quickly as possible? Is it possible that they might have to experience something like that? I was like, yeah, that sounds reasonable. A busy entrepreneur trying to start a business, working two jobs. He might have to run in when he had time and just open up an account real quick and then get to his next job. Yeah, it sounds reasonable when I'm thinking about some other person doing it. Okay, well, this is what you're doing. Relax. Go do it. Sometimes life looks like this. Oh, okay. And that relaxed me. And I went in and I opened up the bank account and then I left. But this is the type of thinking. We have to stop blocking ourselves. So why did I think like that? Well, because my short-term goal was to accomplish. It wasn't, geez, I can't open up a bank account. So how am I going to start a business? No, it wasn't, I can't open up a bank account. It was, when can I open up a bank account? It was going to happen. I was going to do it at some point because I wanted to have my business. So I was going to do it. It was just like, when? Well, I can't because I'm busy. Everybody's busy. So find a way. Reorganize your life. And if I went a week without doing anything to start my business, I rearrange stuff because that's unacceptable. How am I going to start my own business if I can't set any time or energy aside to do it? I can't. And not accomplishing my life of my dreams is not an option. So I'm going to do it. So what do I need to do over here? Do I need to say, okay, son, I know that we used to play for all afternoon. As soon as you got home from school, we'd play until the nighttime. 5 hours, it was just fun time with dad. Can't do that anymore. It's fun time with dad for 2 hours. And you're going to have to play with your friends or play with the dog, find something to do. I need to get some work done. Okay, well, then that's what I did. I found the time. And it's, we got to remember what we're portraying. I spent tons of time with my son. I probably spent more quality time with my son than most people. But I did not sacrifice my life for it. I'm not going to not chase my dreams, because what does my son get? Like, what message are you giving your child when you just live a life that you don't like and you just give them everything that they want? You know, what my son got from me building my business while he was there was how to go after what you want. And now what's he doing at 21 years old? He's doing exactly that. And you want to know why? He doesn't come to me with excuses. My son doesn't go, well, I want to learn about cryptocurrency, but I'm working full time and I don't have the time. I want to learn about, I'm thinking about maybe starting an online business and creating some passive income, but so I can travel the world and live the life of my dreams, but I'm working full time. So I don't know how to, no, he's doing it all. And I didn't tell him to do it. He's just doing it. Why? Because it was modeled for him. It was modeled for him. Do you want a life of your dreams? Well, nobody's going to give it to you. Go get it. Do what it takes to accomplish it. You can. You can. We all can. You know? So that's what I mean. You have that long-term vision. Okay. And then you get your short-term vision. Am I putting energy towards this consistently? If you are, you'll get there. It could be an hour a day. It doesn't take much. It's just putting energy towards it. There's always something you can do where you are. You can build up a website before you even know what you're going to do for a business, just about. You know, this is the thing that people don't do what they can do. People are looking for the big thing. Oh, starting a business is a big thing. And I look at all these steps and I probably can't do it. So, I don't even know where to begin. So no, short-term thinking. Okay, so I don't know where to begin. Okay, so what should I do? Google where to begin. How to begin starting your own business. And then read a couple articles. Well, am I going to need a website for my business? Well, yeah, eventually. Okay. Free website builder. You know, you can go to these companies like Wix and just build a website and you don't have to pay any money. You don't have to make it live. You can just build it. I did that for a long time. Like I had a website. I was working on my website way before I had my business. Because why? Because I knew that I was going to need it at some point. And like I look at it, I go, well, can I start a business? No, there's nothing I can do. Like I don't have a business space. So I can't, like I used to have I started having clients come to my apartment and sit in my living room. I used to do Reiki on single women in my bedroom alone and women that never even met me. I swear to God, when I first started my business, I was doing Reiki. I didn't even know what I wanted to do, but I was doing Reiki and I had a 2-bedroom apartment. And I had a Reiki table, but at some points I literally had women that I had never met that were referred to me by somebody I knew. Young, beautiful women laying on my bed alone in my apartment with me giving them Reiki. Nobody, like rationally, you don't think that somebody would actually do that or I could do that. I just didn't understand blocks. It was just like, I'm going to do Reiki. Well, where can I do it? Well, this is the only place I have. I can't afford a studio, so I'll do it at my house. Well, are women going to come? I don't know. I hope so. We'll see. Hey, can you do Reiki? Yeah, I can do Reiki. Send them over. Give them the address. Oh, shit. And you should have seen some of their faces when I brought them into the bedroom. There was a couple times where I got some looks like, hey, dude, what are you doing? You know? But this is what I mean. I did whatever I could do at that time, wherever I was. And then it builds. Then all of a sudden I have a website. And then all of a sudden the space opens up. See, when you stop putting energy to stuff, then the universe supports you. And then all of a sudden doors start opening. We're sitting there on our ass in our living room on our couch going, well, could you just open all the doors so I can see how this is going to work out and make sure that it's not going to be a waste of my time? And then if it really looks copacetic, then maybe I'll put a little energy towards it. No, I don't see how it's going to work out. Why bother? And then we just sit there living a miserable life. People do this literally for decades and lifetimes. It's over. We can't do that anymore. So, you know, this is what we need to do is just do what you can where you are. You know, put that long-term thinking. If you need to work a job that you don't like, that's fine. But think of it as a stepping stone, not a detour. This is intellectually, this is what we do. We go, oh, I have to take a job that I didn't like. I worked tons of jobs that I didn't like, but I never gave up on having my own business. It was like, well, yeah, of course I have to eat. Of course I have to have a roof over my head. Of course I have a child to take care of. Of course. So I'm not in a position of having the life of my dreams right now or having a business. Okay, well, what do I need to do? I need to earn an income. Okay, I'll get a job. Do I like it? No, sucks. Okay, well, I got to go there and do my best at it every day. Okay, do that. And then I'll stop trying to build something else. And if I can find another job that I like more in the meantime, cool. But it was always a stepping stone. That's the long-term vision. I never let go of that long-term vision. I was working a crappy job until I didn't have to work a crappy job anymore. I was never working a crappy job instead of pursuing my dreams. Never. That's how we have to have the short-term vision supporting the long-term vision. I went to work every day, short-term, to support my long-term, to get me eventually to be able to start a business. You know, and I wasn't able to save money, man. I was making piddly money. So what do I do? Oh, well, I'm starting a business. Well, I need stuff. Well, what do? I don't know. What's this crowdfunding thing people are talking about? Well, you set up a campaign and hopefully some people give you some money. Okay, I didn't know what I was doing. I did it all myself. I researched it. I did it. I did a crappy job, and I raised like $1,500 from some really kind family and close friends that probably felt bad for me, or loved me and wanted to support me. And I raised $1,500. So I went and I had a friend get me a big screen TV on Black Friday for like $300 or something, so I could have spiritual cinema in my business space. And I found, just by chance, about 30 stackable chairs that I could use for big events. And my landlord sold me the couch and a chair that was upstairs for $80 or something, you know? And my cousin gave me a desk that she didn't need when she was cleaning out her house. You know, and I spent $40 on a room divider so I had some privacy for my Reiki table that cost me $120. And I bought a universal gym for like $125 on like Facebook Marketplace or freaking Craigslist or something, that I had to spend like 2 weeks putting together and finding missing parts and ordering bolts and get a set of dumbbells for $300 that you could change the dials for all different sizes, because I didn't have the space or the money to buy a dumbbell set for my personal training that I was doing. Like, I'm telling you, man, you find a way. I found a way. I didn't do anything right. I found a way. Why? Because I was looking for a way. That's my short-term vision. What can I do that's going to support me in working towards my long-term vision? What can I do today? All I can do is, the only thing I can come up with is send an email. Okay, so I sent the email. The next day, what can I do to support my long-term vision? Well, oh, you know what? I didn't even think I could do some more work on that website. I never did my About Me page. I could do my About Me page on my website. Okay. Chip away. Oh, I didn't finish it. All right, whatever. We'll get to it tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow. Finish that About Me page. You just do any little thing, man, even if it takes 15 minutes sometimes. You just do what you can do where you are. That's the short-term thinking that supports the long-term vision. And breathe. So I think that's it. I think that I'm just going to scan. I've been kind of keeping a vague eye on the comments. Yeah, potential energy. I kind of like that too, Nancy, how that came out. We are potential energy. We have the potential to be anything, to do anything, to accomplish anything, especially if it's a heartfelt desire. And even if we don't know what we want to do, if we don't like where we are, we have the potential to be something more. Yes, Untethered Soul, great book. Well, yeah, and I think Sarah just had to leave, but I'm going to answer this anyway. How do you help people whose comfort zone becomes the stuck and they no longer see themselves capable of anything else? Basically, you don't. I mean, as a general rule, and I this might be a theme with Sarah's questions, if I remember right, over the years. You know, she's been with me for a long time, listening to the podcasts and stuff. So it's, you know, this is something that we try to fix people. We have to stop trying to fix people. You will never help somebody who's decided that they don't want help. If somebody is stuck in their comfort zone and they no longer see themselves as capable of anything else, then there's nothing you can do to get them out of that. I mean, you can, to me, I have one conversation. This is how do I handle that? I handle it with one conversation. I sit down and I explain to them, I'll have a conversation about kind of the stuff that I talked about in this podcast. Okay, why do you think you can't do that? Oh, well, because I'm too old. Well, actually, is that true? And get them logical, real life, truthful answers, not pie in the sky BS. Really show them that them being too old is literally not true. Other people have done it. You can prove that. You can Google people that have accomplished stuff at older ages and prove it. So that's not true. Okay, what else? What other roadblock do you have? Why else do you think that you can't do this? Why else do you think you're incapable? I'm not smart enough. Not true. Are you capable of doing your job? Yes. Okay. Well, look at these businesses. Look at the stupid things that this business did. Google stupid things that businesses do. You'd be amazed. I've never Googled that. I might. There is so many stupid things that businesses do. It's unbelievable. This was one of the reasons why I knew that I could run a business. When I started paying attention to the decisions that businesses made, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. I was like, I can definitely make better decisions than that. Whatever their roadblock is, talk them through it. And I would do that once. And then after that, I don't allow them to complain. If it's my friend, and I don't have friends that incessantly complain, because I won't listen to it. I don't want to be around people like that. So, or family members. I'm not saying that I'll cut them out of my life. I'll still go hang out with them, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time with them. It's because I'm not going to sit there and listen to somebody complain and whine about their life when they're full of shit. And that's what they are. They're full of shit. If you think you can't do something, you're full of shit, period. And I don't hang out with people and listen to their shit. So I'm not going to do it. So what I'll do is I'll walk them. Oh, there's my bell. My consciousness bell. So what I'll do is I'll show them that, no, this is not true, that, you can do it. You can, and I'll support them and build them up and give them, I'll do that little thing with them once. And then after that, when they go, oh, well, it must be nice. Oh, I can't. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm not listening to your BS. It's a load of crap. You want to feel sorry for yourself and say, oh, I can't, then feel so. I'm not listening to it because it's a load of crap. You're not doing stuff because you don't want to do stuff. And if you don't want to, then that's fine, but own it. Sit there and say, no, I'm going to live a miserable existence because I don't feel like doing what it takes to make the change. Okay, cool. I'm in full support of that. As long as it's a conscious choice, but don't act like you're a victim of life and you can't do it and it ain't your fault. It is your fault. It's your choice. It's your life. Your life is your responsibility. So I don't want to hear it. I don't allow people to sit there and whine to me about stuff like that, like it's not their fault. It is their fault. And then one of two things happens. If they continue complaining about it, I spend less and less time with them, or they stop complaining about it in front of me. And I'll accept them for what I have no problem accepting for somebody that wants to live a miserable life. If you want to live a miserable life and you own it, that's fine. I could be your friend because it's a conscious choice and you're owning it. It's my choice. I want to work a job that I don't like. I don't want to go through the effort of changing. Okay, cool. You have my support 100% because it's a conscious choice. But don't run around acting like you're a victim because you're not. It's your choice. Your life is your responsibility. It's nobody else's. It's your choice. So that's what I would do. I would talk to them like I would try to help them through. And then if they don't want to take my help, see ya. Not listening to it. Yes, follow what grabs your interest and it will take you somewhere. It always does. That's a hint. That's a breadcrumb. Follow it. Yeah, no complainers. Baby steps. That's it. Pie in the sky BS. All right, peeps. Well, this was fun. Felt like I was on a roll. So hopefully there was a lot of good information that came out. It just flows, so I never know. But it felt good. So, all right. Thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. Welcome, Denise. Thanks for tuning in. And if I can do anything for you guys, feel free to reach out. All right. Thank you. Peace. Go chase your dreams. Best wishes. Where's my closing? There it is. Peace.
Looking for more? Check out over 200 episodes of Life Lessons and Laughter, or click the link in the description of this episode to connect with Glenn directly.